Alright, now we're going to look at a low poly head. This head is very easy to produce, and it's good for developing anything, like an elf, orc, a demon, a human, whatever. Now keep in mind that I use this character all the time, but I don't use the same mesh every time because it's good practice to model it out from scratch every time. And as you do that, you begin to see flaws in your initial design, and you can correct those flaws. So we're going to look at this basically starting out with a cube. Okay, this cube is facing Z forward here, my blue arrow, and all I'm going to do is mesh smooth it. Then I'm going to jump into my front view. You can do that by hitting spacebar and choosing. I get a hotkey for it, but goes a little bit outside the scope of this class. I'm going to move the vertice down on theirs, and this is a good area for the eyes. Now I did set up a hotkey earlier for edge loop and extrude. So actually I'm going to insert an edge loop here. This is where the area of the eyes is going to be. Okay. Now I need an area right here for the nose, and now I'm thinking really big, broad down the road. I don't have the polygons in this area, and I don't want this to be the center of my face. Okay, so I lop off one side, jump into a perspective view. Notice I do have back face culling on. That helps a lot when modeling, as you can see. I'm going to extrude those. Then immediately I'm just going to go over to the move tool and move them out. Just like that. Then I'm going to take this object and dog Victor, DV on the keyboard, dog Victor, and move the point right there. Okay. Modify freeze transformation. Edit delete by type history. Then I'm just going to duplicate special square box and put a negative in the scale of X. You can see that this is modeled on a positive X, and therefore it's just going to mirror over to the other side. Now there is a mirror polygon, or a mirror command right here, mirror geometry. I don't like using that. It screws up sometimes, and mirror cut's just about as big as a pain. Instead, I like showing students that you take this, you can combine it, and what I like doing is jumping into a front view, grabbing all the vertices here in the center, and go edit mesh merge. Okay, you know you have it right if you can hit edge loop and put an edge loop around the character just like that. You're going to need an edge loop in this area for the cheek. Okay, now we got eye area. This is going to be the mouth region, and all I need is edge loops in these areas. So for right here, grab two faces, Control E for the edge loop. That's my hotkey for it. I'm just going to put those into place. Control E. Now this one's a little different. I average this. So average is here, but I have Control A hooked up. Just like that. Jump into a side view, and we're going to make ourselves a skull. Now, in this area, you're going to need another edge loop, Control R. And then what I do is grab the vertice here, move them up, move those up, and lastly, move those up a little bit more. Then I kind of fix this jaw area. I'll move it forward so there is a nice straight line here. Move the chin just a little forward on that. Now I'm not thinking about anatomy too much here. I'm thinking skull. Okay, that's what my initial thought is right here. There we go. In my front view, you're going to find the character's really fat. So we're just going to slender him up a little bit. Initially, if you have an eye width of here, this eye width should be here also. So think about 3 eyes across. Again, don't get concentrating too much on anatomy just yet, but you know, general structure is important. Okay, now I'm going to take this edge right here along with the front of it. And a good way to grab this is hold shift, click, and hold shift again and click. And what I'm going to do is slide edge. Slide edge tools right there. Middle mouse button, click and drag, and it'll slide that edge. That one got along for the ride, but that's okay. Alright, if you kind of look at your ear, the corner of it dead ends into the corner of your mouth if you made an imaginary line there. So what I like to do here is add an edge loop in this area. Again, jump in the side view. An edge loop right here. Take this edge and slide it forward. Middle mouse button again to slide. Control R to put an edge loop in here. And these are the polygons I want to grab. So this dead ends into the mouth right in this area, and this dead ends into the eyebrow in this area. Okay. Duplicate it on the other side as far as the selection is concerned. And edge loop. Now, go to the move tool and you can average those vertices. Okay, again, I have Control A as my average. Just going to average those until they fall about right there in the mesh, and that's where the edge loop for the ear is going to be later on. Okay, grab the faces at the very bottom. These. Control E to edge loop. Do an average and pull those down. Okay. Now we're just going to straighten out a few things. Like I'm going to move this down. I'm going to take these and hit scale, and I'm just going to scale them all to one plane. You can do that by kind of going like this. See how it flips around? See how many things I have on as far as history is concerned? Edit, delete by type, history. Okay, let's try that again. There we go, now nice and straight. Again, I'm just going to pull those down just a little bit, and maybe these back just a little bit. Alright, now, I don't waste much time here, because moving vertices like this is really kind of hard and cumbersome. What I like to do is use Mudbox. So in the next video, I just kind of show you how to shape up your low poly head a little bit using Mudbox. Keep it low poly, and then we go on with the rest of the character, getting it to that level of detail.